iHeart Media Group and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. At last month's DeWitt County Board meeting, leadership from the city of Farmer City implored the DeWitt County Board to join them in opposition to a proposed solar farm in Farmer City. Mayor Scott Testori and DeWitt County Republican Party Chair Mo Winstead implored the board to oppose the proposed project. But Board Chair Joe Whitty told the Heart Media Group there was no application for the proposed development, and he feels a stance is unnecessary at this juncture of the process.
Well, there's still no application for the Santa Ana solar project out there near Farmer City. We've had interaction with them where they are, having our zoning department take a look at their application kind of as a courtesy pre-review. Last month, we did get a road use agreement from them, and that was approved. Actually, it wasn't last month. I think they had that to us a couple of months ago, but we approved it last night. Several months back, we got a letter of opposition from Farmer City. They were letting us know that they opposed the project, and last night they sent an updated letter that basically reiterated that same position. They had some members of the community speak, including the mayor, and they let us know that they thought that solar farm, if they went forward, it could impede their future development in that area. So there's no action for us to take at this time. Right? We still don't have an application.
According to Whitty, if the county receives an application for the project, then the county board will obviously take action and go through the process of reviewing. Whitty remains skeptical there is enough to deny the developer approval.
If we do get an application, my thought is we will have to process that application. It'd be probably more difficult to defend that if there was a lawsuit over it. I think they're stating their opposition. I think they would like us to not process anything related to that, but I don't know that we can. I don't know that we want to go down that path. We've got a judge that had ruled prior that we should be playing games with these, if there's an application that comes in, we've got to process them. So, and that was more towards building permits, but I don't want to put that on the zoning department. You have to make that call. If they get an application, it's not their job to reject it. It's their job to process that and send it on to the board, and then for the board to hear any evidence. So if they do come in with an application, I expect that we will process that, have to schedule a special meeting for it or a citing permit hearing, just like we did with the others. Mm-hmm. And that's like before, that's the place where anybody in the public can present their evidence about the application. So again, I don't know what the timeline is and if they're still planning on getting something submitted to the county, but I think Farmer City is just making their position known in advance. And
Whitty believes it would be inappropriate to take a stance before seeing an application. He is not sure how the expiring renewable energy credits from the federal level will impact this specific application in Farmer City. Farmer City leadership has rejected the proposal once and again. Currently, no application has been made since. A local law enforcement official is saying that car accidents are on the rise, especially ones that are avoidable. Sergeant Stu Williams with the Piatt County Sheriff's Office explains that distracted or inattentive driving is a big problem, especially in rural areas where drivers are traveling at high speeds and there are no traffic lights.
Route 32, Route 36, it's a big intersection, but traffic on 36 does not stop. It's only a two-way stop, so it's only 32 that stops. And a lot of times you'll see like people just pull up to the stop sign, just assume that it's a four-way stop, and then they start going again. And obviously people on 36 are traveling at least 55. I'm not naive. Most people travel faster than 55 on Route 36. Combination of speed, obviously cell phones, being on your cell phones and stuff, that's still a big thing. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, you're driving out in the country and the corn and stuff, and you just get sometimes distracted with the environment, and then you're not paying attention and you come up on a intersection and cars become missiles and cause some serious injuries. We've had some fatalities recently.
While the harvest season may be winding down, Sergeant Williams reminds that there are still large farm implements on the road this time of year. He adds that winter weather and ice are also right around the corner.
Yeah, I just warn people, especially with harvest. I know I didn't grow up in Piatt County, so the first time I started working here, I was like, man, them suckers are really big up close and definitely don't want to hit one. I know the fire department's been dealing with a lot of combine fires, and that creates its own thing. That can create traffic issues as well, driving through smoke and stuff, and then congested roadways and stuff. We're getting close to winter, and winter brings ice, and those are the worst days to work. So just extra time, give extra space between cars, slow down, don't jam on brakes because on ice you just slide. Just take your time. Don't be in a rush to get places.
Sergeant Williams urges drivers to stay off their phones while behind the wheel and always remain alert while on the road. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Now there's one web portal for local agriculture radio programming in Central Illinois. IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Local farm programming streamed live and archived to hear anytime. IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Hear the morning and noon farm shows with local agriculture news and interviews. IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Plus hear all of your favorite agriculture farm shows, including RFD Illinois, AgriTalk, RFD Today, and the Closing Market Report. IllinoisFarmRadio.com. It's agriculture grown locally, streamed live, and archived to hear anytime. IllinoisFarmRadio.com. A service of the Miller Media Group.
This is the voice of the Eastern Illinois University Panthers, Mike Brad, inviting all of our fans from Peoria to the Indiana state line to listen for Panther football again this fall on WHOW's many platforms on AM, FM, and streamed online. EIU Panther football is part of WHOW's great weekend sports programming schedule, including a Best of Clinton Maroon sports broadcast and CBS Sports Radio. We'll bring you every Panther game start to finish right here on Central Illinois' news, agriculture, and sports station, WHOW.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
If the flu's got you down, the Warner Hospital and Health Services Walk-In Clinic can help you feel better fast. CEO Paul Skowron inviting you to make us your backup plan to better health. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this sports report. Jacoby Brissett threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for a score in another game with Murray sidelined by a foot injury, and the Cardinals beat the Dallas Cowboys 27-17 on Monday night. Brissett made his 3rd consecutive start after the week began with expectations of Murray returning coming off the team's open week. Instead, the Cardinals pivoted to Brissett, with Gannon saying Murray wasn't quite ready. Arizona won for just the 2nd time in the past 18 games when Murray didn't take at least 5 snaps or sat out entirely. The Cowboys couldn't build on the momentum of Sam Williams' block punt that was recovered in the end zone by Marshawn Nealand, giving up long touchdown drives on Arizona's next 2 possessions on either side of halftime to fall behind 24-7. Marvin Harrison had a career-high 7 catches for 96 yards, including a 4-yarder for the first score of the game. Tight end Trey McBride had a 12-yard touchdown grab. After their punt block and recovery for a score, the Cowboys gave up an average of 10.8 yards on the next 15 Arizona plays, including consecutive 16-yard passes right after the Dallas TD and Michael Wilson's 50-yard catch and run on the second play after halftime. The Cowboys easily reached the Arizona 7 with a first down on the game's first possession, but came away with nothing when Dak Prescott was sacked on fourth down by Josh Sweat, who had 2 of the 5 sacks on the Dallas quarterback. Calais Campbell had two in his 250th career regular season game. Dallas, which lost consecutive games for the first time under first-year coach Brian Schottenheimer, totaled just 3 points on its first 3 drives inside the Arizona 25, leading to the 17-point deficit in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys could have closed it to 14 with a field goal on the first play of the fourth quarter, but Prescott threw incomplete to CeeDee Lamb on 4th and 3. Dallas was 0 for 3 on fourth down. The last hope for the Cowboys ended on their second lost fumble. Javonte Williams had the ball ripped out as he was going down on a short catch with less than 5 minutes to go. Prescott had just 1 touchdown pass a week after having none, as one of the league's best offenses was sluggish again. The scoring toss was a 5-yarder in the fourth quarter for Ryan Florney's first career touchdown. Dallas kicker Brandon Aubrey had the distance but was wide left on a 68-yard field goal attempt to finish the first half. It would have tied the NFL record set a day earlier by Jacksonville's Cam Little, who beat Justin Tucker's mark from 2021 by 2 yards. Cardinals cornerback Max Melton exited with a concussion in the first and didn't return. Cowboys linebacker Jack Sanborn was placed on IR before the game. Cardinals are at Seattle on Sunday. The Cowboys are off next week and at Las Vegas in another Monday night game on November 17th. Coming off their first loss of the season, the Chicago Bulls return home Tuesday to face a Philadelphia 76ers team armed with a blueprint for handling such a setback. On Sunday, Philadelphia responded to its first defeat 2 nights earlier by rolling past Brooklyn 129-105 in the opener of a 3-game road trip. While a scoring first quarter from Kelly Oubre Jr. certainly helped, the Sixers' consistency after Oubre Jr. collected 22 points on 9 for 12 shooting in the opening frame remained key. Chicago will aim to regroup from Sunday's 128-116 road loss to the New York Knicks. After limiting foes to 30.1% shooting from long range in 5 straight victories to start the season, the Bulls struggled to defend the arc as New York shot 47.6% from deep. Giddey delivered his first triple-double of the season, contributing 23 points, 12 assists, and 11 rebounds. While the Bulls have relied on energy, defense, and a multi-pronged attack to fuel their early run, missing one cog from that equation provided an obstacle. Reserve guard Ayo Dosunmu was out after sustaining a quad contusion during Friday's home win against the Knicks. He listed as questionable for Tuesday's game. Philadelphia preserved in Brooklyn as Oubre, who scored 29 points, Tyrese Maxey with 26, and Quentin Grimes with 22 sparked a balanced attack. Joel Embiid sat out due to a left knee injury management. Paul George, also recovering from a left knee injury, was held out as the team awaits his season debut. The Bulls continue to get front court consistency from Nikola Vucevic, who had 17 points and 14 rebounds against New York. Vucevic has notched a double-double in 4 of 6 games this season. He has 5 double-doubles and 1 triple-double in his past 10 games against Philadelphia. The Bulls are 4-0 at home this season, while the 76ers are 3-0 on the road. Chicago is 6-4 in its past 10 games against Philadelphia. The Bulls are seeking their first 3-game winning streak in the series since a 12-game tear between the 2013-14 and 2016-17 seasons. The 76ers won both meetings at the United Center last season. Ryan Blaney's bid to win a second NASCAR Cup Series championship came to an end with a bump by William Byron at Martinsville last weekend. Determined to finish out the season with a win and put last week's disappointment behind him, Blaney passed Brad Keselowski just before the finish line to win the NASCAR Series Cup season finale by 0.097 seconds on Sunday. Kyle Larson won the Cup Series championship, but Blaney earned a little bit of redemption by winning the race at a track where he had come so close in the past. Blaney won 3 times since the 2025 season, but went into Martinsville needing a win to join the championship 4 in Phoenix. The 32-year-old led 177 laps after starting 31st and was in front with 44 laps left. Blaney's return trip to the championship 4 ended a lap later when Byron moved him up the track with a bump from the rear to set up a pass on the low side. Byron led the rest of the way, fending off Blaney on a late restart to earn the championship 4 spot instead of him. Blaney won a championship at Phoenix in 2023 by finishing second to Ross Chastain and was third last year in his second championship 4, finishing behind champion Joe Logano and Christopher Bell. Blaney had finished twice at Phoenix Raceway each of the last 3 years and started this year's season finale 5th. He led 20 laps but couldn't seem to stay in front once he got there. With Denny Hamlin in the lead, a late caution sent the race into overtime and a good chunk of the field into the pits. Blaney's crew chief, Jonathan Hassler, made the decision to go with 2 tires on the final pit stop, putting the number 12 car behind 3 cars who stayed out on old tires. Blaney figured cars in front of him would struggle, and he was right. Making sure he didn't interfere with Larson's championship bid, he quickly moved to the front and pulled up next to Keselowski along the backstretch, passing him just before the checkered flag. The win was Blaney's career-high 4th of the season to go with victories at Nashville, Dayton, and New Hampshire. It was also his 7th career in a playoff race. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears reached into their bag of tricks and dug deep in the end to pull out their wildest victory in years. They matched their win total from last season and are in the thick of the NFC playoff race. Even so, they know they have room to grow. The Bears, who are 5-3, could at least exhale a day after their wild victory. They're in a far better place in Johnson's first season than they were this time last year, when they were in a 10-game free-fall that cost former coach Matt Eberflus his job. It hasn't been the smoothest ride for Chicago. The Bears blew an 11-point lead in the opener against Minnesota and got blown out at Detroit the following week before winning 4 in a row and matching their best streak since 2018. Williams' progress in his second season hasn't happened in a straight line. The former number 1 overall pick still has a tendency to lock into targets and spend too much time scrambling, but he has also come up big late in close games. His 58-yard touchdown to Colston Loveland with 17 seconds remaining Sunday capped a performance like no other. Williams not only threw for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns while running for 53 yards, he became the first quarterback in nearly 82 years with multiple receptions in a game. He caught for 2 passes for 22 yards and a touchdown. If the Bears weren't already looking for help in the pass rush before Tuesday's deadline, they should be now. Johnson said defensive end Dio Odengbo suffered a season-ending Achilles tendon injury against Cincinnati, another blow for a team struggling to take down the quarterback. Signed last March to a 3-year deal with $32 million guaranteed, he had 1 sack after recording 16.5 over his last 4 seasons with Indianapolis. Odengbo's injury came on the same day defensive end Austin Booker made an impressive season debut. Booker had a strip sack against Joe Flacco when he bull rushed his blocker after missing the first 7 games because of a knee injury. The Bears are tied for 20th in the NFL with 17 sacks, and only 3 players have more than 1, with Montez Sweat leading the team with 4. The Bears host the New York Giants, losers of 3 straight and last in the NFC East, on Sunday before the schedule takes a tougher turn. They visit Minnesota in Week 11 and then play 3 straight against the current division leaders, with a home game against Pittsburgh, followed by trips to defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia and to Green Bay. See highlights of your local high school programs by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platform, and get sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Finding the right employees can be a real challenge these days, whether you're hiring full-time or part-time. That's where the